Have we been
Yeah.
talking for 15 minutes without it being live?
Yeah, pretty
I
much.
think so. Rewind.
How about now? How did that happen?
I don't know. Yeah, it still says just waiting for Phoenix COD. That's what it says on my end.
I think we're good,
Oh,
Aaron.
there it goes. Hold on.
Holy,
It looks like we're live, Aaron. We goofed on this one.
oh my God. We've literally been talking.
We're here. We're
to-
here, guys.
We've been
We're
logging to each
here.
other for 16 minutes
We-
without being live. Oh my gosh.
where's our tech guy at? Eddie, where you at? We need IT support here.
Ladies and gentlemen,
all right.
I apologize.
Let-
I have no
so
idea
we're-
why we weren't live. We've been talking for 16 minutes like we were live.
Anyways, we are here. We're talking to Mike G. He told us he's an engineer. He works on videos over the weekend.
We could, yeah, right. That's the short way. So we can start over.
He's a subject matter expert. He teaches the young kids how to be engineers, and
he was
live.
instrumental in fixing the Phoenix Hydra.
Absolutely.
That's hilarious.
God.
And
What? I need Eileen.
You need a drink.
Eileen,
What do you have?
I need a minute.
that's what we're here for. All right, Mike. So tell me this: what got you into detailing? Was it? I'm not even going to ask you what it was, but what got you into detailing?
So actually I just recently shared this with Eddie because he was asking to collab on a video, and it actually started with my dad. So him waxing the cars on the weekends. Yeah, shout out to Dad.
Yeah.
And he would ask me, he's like, hey, why don't you come help me out and wax the car? And at the time I was like, okay, whatever. And then we started doing it more and more, and kind of just at that point was, all right, this is fun stuff. The cars look great because he always wanted the cars to look great.
Right.
He wanted to stand out a little bit, and he was using some cheap wax. I don't even know where he got that thing. It was some pink liquid in a bottle. I don't even know what brand that was. And after that, actually, when I first got my car, when I was 16, 17, somewhere in that range, I was doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And then when I ended up getting my Grand Prix in 1999, brand new, I was like, well, you know what? I want to step it up. I want to use some better products. And I was going to the local auto parts store because back then the online stuff wasn't a thing. As like it is today. And so I would just go over there, pick up some of the best things, and then I was doing a lot of hand polishing at the time because that was
the way to do it.
That was the way to do it.
Yeah.
And so I was just doing it that way, and then a couple years into that, because I was in college at the time, I started joining the forums, Auto Geek. I was on Auto Geekotopia, McGuire's Online, the Adams forum. I was just there. I was just trying to get knowledge and everything. And and I read a lot of articles from Mike Phillips on Auto Geek that I kind of just self-taught myself on machine polishing, and then from probably around 2003 or 4 is when I just started taking it more as more like an enthusiast, like real hardcore enthusiast.
Yeah, you took it more serious.
I took it more serious. And then I had a friend that I met at work, coworker, that he was really big into it as well because he had just purchased a C5 Corvette at the time. And I would go up to his place. He was up in the Palmdale area, California, so it's 2 hours from me. I'd drive out there. We would modify his car. He would put exhaust, sway bar, all that stuff, and then we would do the whole thing. Get his car ready for the car show. So we would do. Kind of just took on from like when I joined the forum world. That's when my mind was just.
That's when it was.
Eyes were open.
Detailing.
Just took me to a whole different level.
And what made you decide, like, I'm going to take this thing that I love so much and that I'm really serious about into YouTube?
So,
I'm assuming that's where you went, right? You started on YouTube.
Actually, no. I actually started on like I said, I started on the forum world. So I was an Auto Geek. So if you go on Auto Geek, type in the Goose, THEGUZ, you will see many write-ups that I had on there because I started there and I was just started asking questions like how to do this, how to do that.
Yeah.
And then I was like, you know what, I really want to get myself known to do something. And then I started doing product reviews on AutoGeek. So I started doing it that way. And then, like I said, I don't even know when YouTube really became popular. But I always enjoyed writing those long posts on there, pictures showing, talking about my experience overall with it.
Yeah.
And then YouTube started becoming a thing, and I was like, you know what? Let me try this.
Right.
And because it was brand new at the time, and let me try this. And I started using that as a supplemental to the write-ups on AutoGeek. So I would do both. I would actually write the post, and then I would make the video at the same time.
Oh, and then you would make the video. Okay.
And then I would share that, and then that's what kind of got me into the YouTube thing, because the forums were dying. There was nobody there.
Yeah.
Especially when Mike Phillips left AutoGeek, it went downhill there, and I appreciate that. Eddie with his Kenzo thing, yeah. So like Eddie, he just posted that about Kenzo. That was probably towards like the middle part when I was on YouTube. So he caught me like right in the middle of like I was really trying to make something of myself on YouTube to really get to, you want to get to 1,000 subscribers, because at 1,000 subscribers is when you start making money.
Yeah.
And so yeah, he caught me like right when I was approaching that number.
I just want to be able to sell merchandise. So if we can get to 500, then I can attach Teespring.
There you go. Let's get you 500.
Yeah, I
so
noticed
like,
one of your first videos where it was like a glass coating or something you did. I mean, this is like 9 years ago, I think, is when I looked.
It was probably the McKee's one that I was using at the time, because so when I was on the AutoGeek forum, I actually became really good friends with Nick Rudder over at McKee's. He actually started at AutoGeek, and then he reached out to me. He's like, "Hey, I want to send you some stuff," and he sent me a bunch of products, and so I was using that, and then he left to go pursue his thing with Bob McKee at McKee's 37, and I stayed in touch with him ever since.
Yeah.
And then Megan took over at AutoGeek, and Megan, if you've ever worked with Megan Poirier, now she's at Cars Candy. She is one of the most nicest human beings you will ever meet.
Yeah.
She's just amazing. She took care of any issues I had with orders. She would just send me stuff out of the blue. She goes, "Hey, I'm sending you this." So she's amazing. If you ever get a chance to meet her in person, I would. You'll talk to her for hours. I actually met her in person.
Yeah.
So she's great. So once I started, that was like I was using that at the time. It was more like supplemental add-ons. Like here's the water performance of the glass coating. This is what you're going to see, type of thing. And then eventually I got more into how to use the product, demonstrate it, that type of thing. Because again, I like teaching. I like teaching people, and if they can take something away from the videos, I've done my job.
Right.
And that comes again from being where I'm currently at as in my engineering career, where I mentor young engineers. I'm teaching them what the older guys taught me.
Yeah.
How to be successful, how to be good, dot your I's, cross your T's, type of thing. Because I want them to be superstars.
Right.
I want them to look better than I do, with their knowledge. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's where I'm at in my career for engineering. But yeah, I mean that's where I started the YouTube thing on the side, and I think what people don't realize, it's really hard to get started, and it's really hard to grow the channel to start making money. That's the hard part, because you're going to be giving up a lot of free time. You're going to be making videos constantly. You're going to upload quite a bit, and so it's not easy.
Yeah, definitely isn't.
So I mean I get distracted easily, shiny balls and whatnot. But Mike, did you cover exactly why you got into detailing in cars? Did you explain like how where that desire came from? Because I just detailed my dad's truck yesterday, and I'm like, no, I don't want to be a professional detailer. Nope.
So my family's always been a car family. We've always been a car family. We're talking about my mom's brothers. They're huge car guys. They have 69 Camaros, 70 Camaros. They have 53. My uncle has my grandfather's '53 Chevy pickup. So they've all been car guys, and being first generation here, born with them, and the age being relatively close, that's when they kind of start taking us to car shows and doing all that kind of thing, and then that's where it really started for me to become a car, quote, a car guy, so to speak. So yeah, I mean, we still do that till this day. I take my uncles and we go car shows, LA Auto Show. We do that type of thing.
That's cool.
So that's how it all started. And you were asking me, so and then plus I had my Hot Wheels collection back in the '80s when I was growing up, and I still have my original Hot Wheels till this day.
Nice.
That's awesome. Wow.
Yeah,
I
kept
have.
them.
I was never into Hot Wheels, but I can tell you, if you go over there, I have every one of my original GI Joes and Transformers and He-Man. Like, I was definitely into like after school cartoons and that whole that kind of stuff. So
You're preaching to the choir. I have the same thing. Thundercats, Silverhawks. I have all that stuff, man.
Silverhawks. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh, that's awesome. I love it. I love it. So just basically to get everybody caught up to speed of the 16 minutes that we didn't broadcast. Mike G is an electrical engineer by trade. He details on the side, usually on weekends when he's not spending time with his family, which has become very important to him. Also, it's very important that I reiterate to those that missed it. Mike G was very instrumental to me in the evolution of Hydra 3.0. I had sent him out some stuff. I was really looking forward to hearing his feedback. He gave constructive criticism, and he didn't knock 2.0, but he said, overall it's good, but it could be better with a few tweaks. And for somebody that I felt was not in the back pocket of another company, wasn't biased to another company, you can know that there's some influencers out there that are just kind of predisposed to liking certain brands over others. But I never got that impression from you. And now knowing your engineering background, which is again another reason why I lean so heavily on Titan Tim from Shine Your Light. He's also an engineer. The critiquing and the criticism that you guys give as engineers are much more factual and data driven versus emotional driven or bias driven. I think that you guys have a much better ability of separating, and giving a black and white opinion about stuff. And so after watching your video on version 2 and DMing with you back and forth, I really felt that we could do Hydra better. And so for that, I'm very grateful to you, Mike, and I really appreciate you being on the show tonight for that very reason. Also, you were very accommodating in the beginning of August so that we could help launch Matt Ayer's X's and O's podcast. And you've just been a really, really great guy. And I just want everybody out there to know that I do truly appreciate you and what you bring to the community.
Oh, thanks, man. Trying to make me blush.
A little bit, a little bit, yeah.
It's working, man. Hey, you're stroking the ego, man. Keep going.
He's so handsome. He's so handsome.
So, and that's what I was when we were talking backstage. It's really hard to put criticism out there, and really constructive criticism, because some people can take it wrong, and some people can take it right.
Yeah.
You're one of the ones that took it the right way. How can I make the product better?
I think that the very, and again, this is I'm not trying to do any kind of patting on the back or anything like that, but I think that ego gets in the way of so many things in this industry. As a small business, we are a small business, so we don't have all the bells and whistles that other people can bring to the table, or people that have been in the industry for 30, 40 years, have been in the industry, handlebar mustaches and stuff like that. I think that just basically from the old school that I grew up in, being in the manufacturing world, ego was the number one downfall of those companies, and the shortcomings of those companies was ego. And it's, I would remember going into dealerships and talking to one of the detailers, and they're like, well, your 1500 cut sucks. And I would go back and I would tell the boss they didn't like the 1500 cut for whatever reason. And the response would be, well, they're not using it right. They're stupid. And it's like, is that really the approach that we want to take to this? Like, I mean, if you want to be a contender, if you want to be the best, is the immediate default to it's the customer's fault for having that?
Yeah.
I don't think that that's the right way to go about it. Whoa. I didn't name any names, Eddie. I didn't name any names.
Eddie.
It could be anybody. Like, why you got to throw shade
But
like that?
I think that just applies to anyone, not just in a business, just in individual yourself. If you're not constantly trying to like go for the next level, become stagnant, and that's not a good way to be.
I think if anybody is in an echo chamber, I think you're doing a disservice to yourself, and that applies to every single aspect of every single area of your life. If you're just listening to the people that want to blow smoke up your butt in any category, you're not doing it. You're not doing yourself any. You're never going to evolve by doing that at all. So.
And that you touch on another subject, right? If you're not open-minded, that kind of leads to your downfall. Right?
Yeah,
of course.
I mean,
hey,
I've seen it everywhere.
The bearded hunter just entered the room, and the big news on the board is apparently he got a job with
Mr. KCX.
KCX
competitor, but congratulations. I'm so happy. I'm so happy for Hunter. Congratulations, sir.
Well deserved.
Nothing but the best, and hopefully you don't speak ill of your friends.
I'm looking forward to what he does.
Right?
Remember the little people.
Remember the little people as you as the cream rises to the top. Oh yeah!
And have him sneak me into SEMA.
Yeah,
right. We all expect bracelets, I guess they have those little cards that you hang from your chest. Hunter, we saw you first, just for the record.
Should have picked him
Mike.
up.
Mike, what do you think is your biggest challenge with creating YouTube videos? Or maybe frustration, or just what's an obstacle for you when creating YouTube videos?
For me, it's just trying to figure out what to discuss. Because after a while, you just run out of product comparison. For example, I'm all rinseless washed out for this year. I'm like I have one more coming in, and I think after that, I'm done with rinseless washing for now. And it's like, what's the next subject I want to focus on that could capture the audience and engage them just as much as like rinseless washing. And rinseless washing is always a hot topic. It gets people talking.
Yeah.
But again, I'm rinseless washed out.
But there's only so much you can do. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
especially now with like so many of them being like just as good as the next one. Like I think all of them are pretty good.
I mean, it's really hard to, because I did top 3 earlier, like for like quarter 2 or something like that. I did top 3, and it's really hard to narrow down top 3 right now because there's so many good ones. And I was like, maybe I should do top 5, and eventually that's going to evolve. Like, you know what?
They're all good.
Yeah, buy them all. They're all good. Doesn't matter which one you buy. They're all good.
Pretty much.
And we're nitpicking now to try to distinguish which one is going to end up in that top spot. So that. At this point, it doesn't really, for me, in a rinseless wash category, it's like they're all, like I said, they're all good, and you can't go wrong with what's on the market right now.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
So for me, it's just trying to find out what's the next topic, how can I engage the audience more? My channel is growing slow, and to me that's fine. I really don't care if it takes off or not. I'm not trying to be the next. Should we call him Pan?
Pan the
I'm not
organizer.
trying to be the next Pan.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to get to 1 million subscribers. None of that. I'm not.
Yeah.
I just do it on my free time, and
Yeah.
whether or not people subscribe, that's great. It's up to them. And I had made this on one of my videos. Like, you know what? I don't like saying like and subscribe on my videos because, look, man, we're all adults. We're watching these videos. If you like what you see,
If you like it, do something about it.
do something about it. If you want to subscribe,
That's it.
by all means, subscribe. You don't
Yeah.
need me to handhold you and tell you do
Yeah,
do
yeah,
this,
yeah.
do that. Right? So
I agree with that.
It's two things here. The first one is, Papa Smurf and I talk pretty much every day, probably about 30 minutes on his drive into work. And he was really sharing that he was upset about like the viewership and the views that he was getting on his videos and how much work and effort it takes to put it into videos, and how little reward, I guess, he's getting from it. And the other day I was watching the Joe Rogan Experience, and it was his official channel. And it was from December of last year, so December of 2023. He had Russell Crowe on the show. And Russell Crowe, I mean, the gladiator himself, he's a pretty big name. Joe Rogan has like 1.5 million subscribers. And the amount of likes that episode got was 6,000. And so I did a quick calculation, and it was 0.038% of the people that subscribed to his channel liked that episode. I sent that to him as an encouragement that, dude, we only have I think I have 300 subscribers. He's got like 5,000 subscribers. You got a guy with 1.5 million subscribers and he's getting 6,000, thumbs ups. Like, just do it because you love it, not because you're looking to, you're I don't think that you should find, some sort of validation from the amount of likes and views that you get. I think that we here in this community, it's always been about sharing information and learning and teaching and just talking to each other. And I would rather have this, I would rather know what Becca and Mary are going through on their day-to-day lives than having 50,000 followers or subscribers that I don't have a relationship with. And I think that's what Curmudgeon's Corner is all about. It's just the ability to talk to each other, to support each other, and really to just kind of uplift each other and share information. Hey, this worked for me, or hey, this didn't work for me. The idea that I originally had behind Curmudgeon's Corner was to have more than just detailers on the show, but like small business owners and things of that nature, so that we all feel that we can share, the pitfalls of being a small business owner and the pitfalls of being, 4 o'clock in the morning and just wondering, what the hell are we doing? And where are we going? And how are we going to make rent? And how are we going to make the mortgage? And how are we going to do all of those things? That we are actually a community that supports each other. I think am I frozen?
You're frozen.
Now you're back.
All right.
So I think that's probably a good segue into giving something away.
For sure. And we've been talking about Rinseless, and I would love to give away a Hydra 3.0.
Good one.
I know, Mike, we only have you for about another 20 minutes. Unfortunately,
we can go a little bit longer than that.
no, I want to be
yeah.
very respectful to your family, so let's give away a Hydra. Eileen, I don't know if you have a question or trivia question that we can ask right out of the gate.
I do. So Mike G has reviewed 3 Phoenix EOD products in his
Boom.
videos. Which are those 3 products?
Good one.
Nice. That's a great question.
That's a great question.
You were ready. You had that bullet loaded and chambered. I love that.
She did her homework.
I don't know what Hertz is.
I don't
What is
know.
Hertz? What is Hertz?
I think he meant to say Hydra. I'm gonna assume that's what he meant to say.
All right, so it's either him or Eddie, and
I don't know,
Eddie's
to Eddie.
It's not-
Eddie's
Give it
been
to
talking a lot of smack
Yeah.
all day.
It's not Eddie. It's not Eddie.
Don't give it to
Yeah, but
Eddie.
I don't think he's eligible either. Ghost isn't Ghost. You're not eligible.
Why
You've
not?
won like 9 things in the last 3 curmudgeons.
Hydra, Apex.
All of them. Immortal Titan. It would be Papa Smurf.
Enthusiast?
You're not eligible either. Sorry. I mean, unless you guys want to donate to the Pay It Forward campaign, you're not eligible. Papa Smurf's not eligible. Ghost.
Eddie
isn't-
said he's come on, Eddie. You
Yeah,
know
so
you-
it's either Ghost or it's Enthusiast because those are the only 2 that got it right.
I honestly think it should be Enthusiast. Just by not Ghost, you're correct. You're 100% correct. But you have won within the last 3 curmudgeon corners that I'm if I remember correctly. He'd like to donate it. All right. Well, then he wins. Ghost, you win.
All right.
Nice.
All right. Thank you very much. Let me mark this down.
He's a good dude donating that.
Right?
Yeah.
Let me just tell you, the amount of support that we have gotten for the Pay It Forward campaign, and for those of you that are just listening or just tuning in or are new to the show, every year we do a Pay It Forwards campaign where basically we receive all these donations, and then we accept nominations to people that might need a leg up or just some support around the holidays. And we donate all of this stuff. Everything that's donated gets distributed to people that are in need. And we have gotten such a great outpour. I want to say between Eddie and Humberto, they have made Curmudgeon's Corner Pay It Forward campaign, or the Rise from the Ashes Pay It Forward campaign 2024, the most exciting campaign that we've done to date. Humberto has donated a ton of stuff. Eddie has donated a polisher, a brand new polisher, to the campaign. It is truly what keeps me in the saddle. Like, there are days that I'm struggling. There are days that I'm wondering, why we're working so hard, and then the humanistic outpour to the community has just, it's overwhelming. And it's like, how can I not try to be a part of this vessel to give it to people that are in need? So Ghost, I appreciate this. Eddie, I appreciate you. Humberto, I appreciate you. Hawaii Tim, I appreciate you. Kim, I appreciate you. She was the very first person to donate actual cash money to the campaign via Papa Smurf. It's just amazing. And then we have a new guy. His name is Nick Fry. He's got a bunch of stuff that he wants to donate. Christy from the X's and O podcast, she wants to donate an entire chemical package from Next Level. Again, just the outpour has just been overwhelming, and I don't even know if we're going to have enough nominations to give this much stuff away. It might flow over into 2025.
Wow.
There's an actor out in LA that has heard about this and wants to get involved, and so we're going to have him on the show after, we do 4 episodes of the Curmudgeon's Corner right after Black Friday. So we talk about it, and then for 4 weeks leading up to Christmas, we do a show, and he wants to be a part of that, and he's got a pretty big platform that he wants to promote the Pay It Forward campaign. I love you guys. I love this community, and I love everybody that's here. No, Chris, it's not Tom Cruise. I don't think Tom Cruise has heard of us just yet.
Probably
We're
not.
still trying to land Jay Leno, and hopefully through Jay Leno we can get to Tom Cruise. But baby steps, baby steps.
Jay Leno would be fun if you could land him.
Absolutely.
Right?
Aaron, I'm gonna ask, since we only have
I'll give you some more time because I think I got time. It's like 15 after.
okay.
We-
To ask him my questions.
Yeah, go. Shoot.
Okay. All right.
Rapid fire.
These may or may not apply to your situation because they're kind of geared more towards like detailer business, everyday type stuff. But let me know what you think. So, a tool that you bought that you feel now you could have waited or never purchased at all.
Ooh, that's a good one. Oh, the last thing I purchased was a Shine Made polisher because Eddie put it out there, but I could live without a 3-inch polisher.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh my god, I
I
feel
still
like
have
would die.
I still have my original Porter cable, and I can swap out that backing plate and put
Yeah.
a 3-inch backing plate on it.
Yeah, I mean, I could do it. I could do it with a 6-inch because that's how I learned and that's how I've always done it. And I've been like spoiled having a 3-inch. But I feel like now that I've had one, I don't ever want to go back to not having.
Yeah, once you get one, it's a
That's
different
it.
experience because then
Yeah.
that's it. You need it.
Why would I use a 6-inch if I have a 3-inch
Exactly.
to do it? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Ha 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 ha. Anyways, what? Eric knows about the 3-inch life. He knows about it. What's one thing you have in your arsenal that if it was missing on your next detail, you would struggle or kick yourself for not?
Let's see.
I'm such a child.
Let's just keep it this 3-inch polisher.
Yeah.
No, that's tough. I mean, I think for everything you need some sort of either car soap or rinseless wash to at least get started.
Yeah.
If you don't have any of those, you really can't do
Screwed.
anything.
Yeah. Okay, what is a skill that you learned that has proven to be the most beneficial for you as a detailer or a business?
So for me, it's having access to some of the product reps, like Chris Rakan over at Dr. Beasley's has been, him and I, we speak on the side, and the guys over at ADS, we speak, and then just having them, asking them, hey, what if I do this? Can I do this with that product? And trying to push the limits of certain things. So that's kind of like for me is number one, understand the product, and number two, how far can I push that product to its limits? And
Right.
so for me, it's my skill is taking the knowledge that's already there and expanding upon it to see what can we push this thing to the limit, and what can we achieve with that particular product. So that's always been my skill set, is just kind of doing my research and then moving forward and kind of just again seeing what the product can do in different situations.
Yeah. Okay. We kind of touched on this before. What's your biggest challenge? What would be your best or favorite accomplishment to date regarding your business or because of your business? Or for you?
So one of my biggest accomplishments, so challenges. So again, because I don't do this as a business, so I'm not out there chasing vehicles that come and work on.
Right.
We were talking backstage. This year I took the time to be with myself and my family more so than going to chase a vehicle. Like before, I would go and ask somebody, like, hey man, would you be willing to let me borrow your vehicle for a couple days, and I can do that. So for me,
Yeah.
if it's the challenge is to go out there and get a car or a truck or something to come in. That's the biggest challenge. But the biggest accomplishment for me, one of the biggest, is being on the episode of Competition Ready when Auto Geek was filming those seasons, season 1 and season 2. I was on season 2 for the 1929 Bentley, and having the chance to work with Mike Phillips.
Yeah.
That was fun, and I met a good group of people that were on that episode, and two of the guys that I met there, we stayed in touch. Freddie and I'm gonna drop their names: Freddie Cruz and Jesus.
Yeah.
Jesus is at BB Detailing on Instagram. He's the maker of the Coding Caddy. So I met them in 2017, and we've been in touch ever since.
Yeah.
So like I said, that was the biggest accomplishment for me, was being on there. That I can kind of say is like, hey, look, I made it kind of, quote, big, and I was able to work alongside with one of the top guys in the industry, and that being Mike Phillips. So again, that was really fun for me.
Cool. What social media platform have you had the most success with?
So I primarily use Instagram. I do have a Facebook account there, but I primarily just use that for like Facebook groups and stuff. But most of the time I'm using either YouTube. That's my primary thing there, because I do have my YouTube channel, and then Instagram. So I will post the video that on Instagram, say, hey, go watch, because this is out for me. So again,
Right.
YouTube, and then Instagram.
And then Instagram.
Yeah.
Now, would you say that Instagram is more like, for example, and what I'm trying to drive here is like, I will see an alert on Instagram before I see an alert on YouTube that you have a new YouTube video posted.
Mhm.
So would you say that, like, as far as being able to feed your YouTube channel, that's more influential than just YouTube itself?
It is. Actually, that helps a lot, because you said people who follow you will get the notification saying, hey, there's Mike just posted a new story, and then they can go and watch that video. If I just do it on YouTube by itself, not everybody has their notifications on, and so they won't
Or
see
sometimes
it.
when you get it, even me, when I see it, I'll see the notification come up, and then I'll be like, I'm in the middle of something.
Yeah.
And then I'll just get rid of it, and then totally forget about it.
Mm-hmm.
That it even came up.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a good idea.
Hey, real fast, Rick Smith has to dump out, but he has just made the jump into detailing, and he's been putting out some really good
Yeah,
stuff.
I saw his stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So if you guys
Mhm.
can check out Rick Smith and
Check
what
it
he's
out.
doing
Follow
on down
him.
there, he's a big supporter of Phoenix. He's another one of the guys in the community that reaches out to me pretty much on a weekly, if not, every other day basis, where he's just kind of like, hey man, just checking in, hope you're doing well, hope things are well. And it's that kind of, like, again, the support group that we have here, that is just, really instrumental to keep people in the game, to keep their heads in the game, and to know that, I mean, this is a tough time that we live in, and to know that you're not alone, and that that you have friends in the trenches, it's really important. And Rick, you've really been great like that, and so I just wanted to say thank you. Appreciate you stopping by. Appreciate you supporting the channel. Have a good night and a great weekend.
I'll definitely check out his content. And like I said,
Yeah.
it's not easy to start, but once you start, then you kind of start figuring out that you get more comfortable behind the camera. And
Yeah, I have hours and hours. I mean, probably at this point, hundreds of hours of footage of, like, going up to Apex Auto Detailing, and Brian and I working on a product review, or an instructional, and I am so intimidated by the editing process, or putting something out there that people are going to really criticize, especially when I'm doing something detailed oriented, and Brian will go, don't do it like that, they will destroy you. People will make these comments, you have to go top to bottom, don't ever go back and forth. It's just like that kind of stuff, and then I become frozen, because I don't want to put something out there that's not right, or give the wrong information, or look stupid. And Papa Smurf, again, he's been one of those guys that's just like, just do it, you'll get better. Look at my first video. My first video was silly and da 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 da. I don't know. I just get hung up on the whole. At some point I was like, Eileen, I just want to pass everything over to you. You can edit it, send it back to me, and then I'll take all the credit. That'll be awesome.
Mike, do you feel like you do that, where you, like, when you're recording a video, you have that in the back of your head where you're thinking, like, what whatever I'm recording, is this something that someone's gonna give me hate for in the comments, or are they gonna look at it with a fine tooth comb, or like, do you ever have that where you sit there and think about it?
I
You're
do,
just like,
and I got to the point where I don't care.
yeah,
I
you
don't
can't.
care because you can't please everybody. You
Yeah.
literally can't. You
But
know,
I
had-
want
Someone-
to. But I want to.
someone is the golden retriever over here. Someone will always find something wrong
Always.
with what
I
you're
had-
doing.
I made a video recently where I was applying I wanted to show 50-50 of a tire dressing, and so I did the right side first of the tire clockwise thing, and then I finished the other side counterclockwise, and that comment on there is like, oh, you're supposed to apply clockwise. That's the best way to apply a tire dressing. I was like, what if you're left-handed and clockwise is not your natural rotation?
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
counterclockwise is your natural rotation. So
Yeah.
I will. So when I see those types of comments in there, I will actually troll them and make them think
Yeah.
about it,
Yeah.
because I want them to see the other way out of from it. There's no right way to do things, and there's always different ways. You'll get there eventually, whether it's the wrong way or the right
And
way.
that's the thing is, when I first started working for the old company, and going to all the different dealerships, and I mean literally dealing with hundreds of different detailers, the very first thing that I learned is that no two detailers detail the same way,
Exactly.
and that you have to do what works for you. And that's why I kind of get like discouraged when people really get into the minutia of the directions on the bottle, and it's kind of like,
Yeah.
well, there's what do they say? There's more than one way to skin a cat.
Mhm.
What works, do what works for you. Do what is enjoyable for you. Like, we try to make a versatile product so that you can use it in 100 different ways. But my instruction would be, what works for you? How do you make it work for you? I remember having a conversation with Matt Ayers in Phoenix, and he was just like, I wish that a company would make a product specifically for Phoenix, Arizona. And it's just kind of like, dude, like, you're talking about such a niche product.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to make a product that will work in Phoenix, Arizona, as well as Portland, Oregon, as well as, you know what I mean? Like, as well as Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Like, as a manufacturer, I want to try to make something as diversified as possible. And that's why we're super proud of, like, the new Apex 3.0, where, Papa Smurf and I were on the phone talking to each other, and we let the soap dry to like a crust on the surface of the vehicle in direct sunlight, so that we could say, all right, this is how it's going to behave. If it happens to dry in direct sunlight, what do you do about that? And you spray it with water, it reactivated. It didn't leave any water spots behind. That's a win. So that, maybe in Phoenix, Arizona, in those unbelievably disgusting 105 temperatures, the soap happens to dry on your surface. You're not you're not screwed.
Yeah.
So, I don't know where I was going with that.
Yeah.
I have
mean,
one.
That's
I
hard.
have
Go ahead.
one more question. What's your favorite interior cleaner, and why is it Typhon?
Hey, I must admit that is actually good. I've actually used a full bottle of it already after
Yeah.
I diluted it. So I've actually already used it. I'm gonna make a second one because it works. It's just so good,
Yeah.
and it works good on everything, not just plastics and all that. I actually
Yeah.
used it to clean seats, carpeted seats.
Yeah.
And floor mats, and I was like, wow, this thing works really good. So
It's
it actually
amazing.
is really good. It's so versatile, and the fact that you can dilute it makes it so much more cost effective than just buying something that's ready to use. So yeah, I've been really enjoying
Absolutely.
that, and I've
Yeah.
been using that pretty often.
I agree.
All right, Eileen, we are at the official 1 hour mark. Unfortunately for the viewers, it's only the 40-minute mark.
We can go. We can go. We can go another 15 minutes, Aaron.
but we should probably give something else away at the 1 hour mark. And then,
Well, then it might as well be Typhon because we were
Ooh, that's
just
a good
talking
one.
about it.
oh snap!
And,
I love the way your brain works. I just want you to know that.
oh,
And I want you to know also that if somebody else tries to headhunt you, I will cut a bitch.
they won't.
I just want you to know. All right? Like, if somebody tries to pick you up, I will drive to wherever they're at, and I will cut a bitch.
All right. So the question is for whatever size Aaron decides to give you for Typhon. We discussed Mike G's first few videos were about a specific product. I don't need to know the brand, but what exactly was it?
That's a good question.
That's a real good question. Let's see who was paying attention.
Nope.
Is that right?
Nope.
Nope. Ah, too bad,
Ooh,
Mackenzie.
Keith.
Keith got it.
Keith, he doesn't get anything unless he wants to donate. Like you have no idea how many DMs.
All right, Keith. So Keith, decide if you want to donate it. If not, we can give it to Mackenzie because she was in second. Correct.
I'm just saying, like, I get so many DMs where it's like, these like 1 or 2 or 3 people win everything. It's not fair, and I'm like, we do have a policy in place that you can only win like once per 3 months or something like that. She wants Keith to have it.
I know, but Keith can't have it, so he has to donate it or give it to Mackenzie.
Let's
donate
There you
it to Mackenzie.
Donate it to Mackenzie.
That is so. That is so.
There it is.
Workaround. I love that. That is so workaround.
Nice. Yeah, Westcat, you can't win. Okay, the last real question, Mike, is how would you classify success? And for detailers, whether you're doing it as an enthusiast or you're doing it as a full-time business or whatever, we all have different definitions of success. What is yours?
Oh, that's a good one. So for me, because I'm looking at my engineering background, and my success, I've had a lot of failures in my career that have led to success. So it's learning from failures, whether from a detailing aspect, it could be from maybe you didn't charge enough, that type of thing, or maybe you didn't interface with the customer very well to kind of share true expectations, and that maybe that customer walked away and not happy, that type of thing. So take those little things, those little failures in your business or in life period, and learn from them. And just know that if you're having a rough time, it's a short period in your life, and eventually, again, you'll move on and be successful with whatever led to that initial failure point. So again, I learned from my engineering degree that where I'm at now, 23 years later, and where I started from as a young engineer, I was like, how did I make it this far? And then I look back and I say, wow, I failed so many times, and look where I'm at.
Yeah.
And just that, and then being open-minded to just things in general. Take as much knowledge as you can and just be open-minded. Like Aaron brought up, there's multiple ways to do things, and just know that. So what you see on YouTube, you don't have to do it exactly that way. Just find a method that works for you, and you can learn and proceed
Right.
on. So it's, again, failure leads to success.
Absolutely. I agree. Because it led us to Hydra 3.0.
There you go.
Right?
And Hydra 2.0 wasn't really a failure.
Yeah, no.
No, it wasn't a failure. Hydra itself was a disaster. I mean, like, I think Jamie was, before we had even launched it, I had sent him like some samples, and he was just like, huh? Like, this is what you want to lead with? And I was like, no. and at the time, Brian from Apex Auto was hanging out in the warehouse with me, and so he was like, all right, so let's go back to we'll watch a whole bunch of Jamie's videos, and we will look to see what he's looking for in a rinseless. And that again was the difference between, like, let's say the original Hydra and your video on Hydra 2.0, where like I didn't have to go do investigating on why you didn't like or what you didn't like about it. Your video was so comprehensive, and all these different aspects of like the shortcomings of Hydra 2.0, that it was very easy to identify what we needed to improve to make it better. So, you know, going back to the original Hydra and comparing it to, you know, to Jamie's video, and Jamie's feedback was basically, it's trash. And it's like, well, what didn't you like about it? Which was what the most frustrating part about it is, I need to know what you don't like about it. So what we did was we reverse engineered Hydra 2.0 and went up against, like, well, what did he like about other people's rinselesses? So, you know, he liked this about this, he liked this about that, he liked this about that, he liked this about this. So what do we have to do to our Hydra to make it more like these other 4 categories?
Right, yeah.
Whereas yours was way more comprehensive, and it was like, it's good, but it could be better with these tweaks. And it was like, it was that kind of like being able to dial it in that made, like, we literally went from 2.0 to 3.0 in a week. Your video, within a week, we had 3.0, and it was gangbusters. It was so successful, and the feedback that we've gotten on it has been so successful. So for the, again, once again, I thank you. I thank you for the way that you go about critiquing something isn't like, oh, it's trash, throw it away. It is, I like these things, I don't like these things, and this is what we can do to be better. And that kind of information is so valuable to a manufacturer. That's like, that's why, you know, Titan Tim is on my team. He, before we launch, I send him samples. Tell me what you think about this. Tell me what you think about that. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. You know, so we have the engineer category kind of locked up, and then we have, you know, guys that detail full time, you know, as a career, and get their feedback on it, because, you know, the whole idea behind Phoenix COD was like, I want to be able to make everybody's life easier. The Pay It Forward campaign is to you know, give a little bit of a less of a burden on somebody. The products, they need to work hard so that you don't have to. You know, that's the idea that I have in the back of my head, and whether or not it comes to fruition is yet to be seen. But, you know, that's the goal.
And again, that's a great goal to have. Right? You take, I think if the one thing about YouTube here is, like you mentioned, some people just say this product sucks, right? And then you're trying to go, like, why? People ask, why does it suck? And then you don't really get that answer from that content creator. So that's something that can be frustrating from watching videos.
Or
go ahead.
they'll get it, and then they're like, oh yeah, it's good, and then they just never use it ever again because
Right.
it was horrible and didn't give you that feedback. So yeah.
Yeah. So what I said with Hydra 3.0, what you did with it, Aaron? Like I said, as soon as I saw that thing melt that bird bomb on there, I was like, dang, this thing is so good.
Yeah, when I saw you put that on your video, I was like, oh my god, that's epic. That's
Thank you.
amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And again, 100% is, well, because of the way that the criticism was presented, it inspires creators to be better, to do better, and that's ultimately what we want. And you know, if you had just said, "Oh, this sucks," and thrown it in the trash, I would have been like, "Well, what does he know?" You know what I mean?
Right.
But the fact of the matter is that you go, "This is good, but it could be better because of this and this and this and this." You go, "You know what? He has a point," and you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And it triggers your brain to start thinking in a
Exactly.
different direction.
And that's what I try to convey in my videos, is like trying to get somebody to think differently, not just think the same. You know, they went and watched this video, and then they go see this one and said, okay, this guy said this, and so forth. So
You
I could-
you
it
are
could-
you are a liar. You are a liar. And how dare you? How dare you speak the devil's name in this podcast? Like, oh my, that is like them
Eric,
fighting words,
shots
smart.
Yeah.
fired.
Those are
Eric.
fighting words. I had this very conversation with Brian yesterday. We had lunch together, and we were talking about that particular company, and I had said to him, that's the number one reason why I never even remotely approached them for um, to collaborate, because there's I don't know what I'm allowed to say without getting by putting myself in liable. I don't want to be liable, and I don't want to slander. I don't want to slander, and I don't want to be liable. But the bottom line is that if I have a formula, and that formula is better than the current formula that they are currently using on whatever product it is that we're talking about, they will just absorb my formula, and therefore it becomes the formula for 400 other companies.
Mhm.
So I stay away from them with a bazillion yard foot pole, because I don't want, I would loathe for Papa Cut to become, the norm of a diminishing compound. Like, you can reverse engineer, and it's possible to reverse engineer, and by all means go nuts and try to reverse engineer, Papa Cut or Fabulous Finishing Polish or Gloss and Wax. Go ahead. But it's not going to be the same. It's not. It's going to be close, but it won't be the same. And so you really have to go into these kind of agreements and these non-disclosures and things of that nature with a trustworthy company, especially when it comes to blending, having somebody else blend your products for you. I have the recipe for the cake, but I need to know beyond a doubt that that cake recipe is my cake recipe, and you can make as many different cakes as you want, but this one is mine. And if you start mass producing it for other people, I'll sue you into the dirt. But
You didn't want Hydra to be distributed everywhere?
not
Different
particularly.
names?
No. I mean, wait. Let me rephrase that. Yes, I want Hydra to be distributed everywhere, but I
As
want
a
me
Phoenix
to be
but
the
under
only
your-
source of it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and that purpose, yeah, to put it that way.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
Hydra
good. I
is
mean, I
insane-
like the
insanely
fact that
good.
I like the fact that you own your own formulas and your own products there that you have blend.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I spent. I get it now. I get the conversation. So when I was working at the old company, I had said, we can do it better. We can do differently. We can find our own chemist, and we can make our own stuff, and we can do it better. And the answer was always, no, it's too hard. It's too expensive. There's too many, there's too many moving parts to pull something like that off. You're just better off staying in the herd. And ultimately, that's where the EOD whole thing came from. The EOD was the evolve or die. I was like, we could do something better. We can do something better.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I decided to step out and do my own thing, I did that exact thing. I did everything that I was told that you shouldn't do. I did, and I understand why now, because it's expensive. It is brutally expensive. I mean, you're talking about when you have a chemist on retainer, you're looking at like $30,000 a month.
Mm-hmm.
A month.
Yeah.
To have a chemist on retainer. And so yeah, I get that there's an expense to it, and I get that there is there's uncertainty to it, but at the same time, from where I sit, I think it's worth it. If I mean, if we can survive, and we get the name out there, and we get, the worst comment that I can have is, "Oh, I've never heard of Phoenix before. I should check them out." That's the worst comment, because I mean, you could have the best products in the universe, but if nobody's ever heard of you, it doesn't matter, right? So, um,
Have you
but
gotten
I'm
to the point? Let me ask you this on a personal.
yeah,
Once you're done, I'll let you go.
no, go
Finish
ahead.
your thought. Have you gotten to the point where you've broken even with all the investment that you put into the Phoenix EOD brand?
It's a great question. Um, Probably not. I know that year two, so that would be 2022. According to my accountant, I averaged a negative $800 a month income. My income was negative $800 a month in 2022. And I'm really good friends with Christian from BioBombs. BioBombs has been around for about 7 years, and he's just now really taken off. Like, he's like, this has been my year, and I am so grateful to him for his tutelage, for his inside business understanding about stuff. Um, and that's the number one reason why small businesses die within 4 years, is because you could have the greatest product in the universe, but you just don't have the capital to hang on for more than 4 years. It's just like, we're doing everything right. The product that we're selling is perfect, and we just can't turn the hump, and then all of a sudden their capital is completely out. I've aligned myself with really, really good investors that have understood the name of the game, that have given me a lot of leeway and support. Um, it's a difficult question to answer, of whether or not, we're in the black finally, because for whatever, I mean, this is an election year. Um, the economy is really, really tough. I know that Amazon sales across the board, and not just talking about my Amazon sales, but I'm talking about Amazon as a company across the board. They're down 28% in sales across the board. So, home and garden, and automotive and toys and office supplies, whatever, they're down 28% across.
And that goes across everywhere. I mean,
You're right,
We're
exactly.
We're slow in our business. This is one of the worst years I've seen ever in my career.
Sure, and I would say that my sales reflect the economy as abroad. We're in the middle of August, and I mean, I should be selling soap like it's going out of style. Um, Sales are down. Sales are they're just slow. And I chalk it up to being an election year, the uncertainty of the future. People don't really know what's going to happen in 3 months, and so they're just kind of holding on to their pennies. And unfortunately, detailing supplies, it's kind of a luxury item. I could spend $3 and go through a tunnel wash, or I could spend $15 and do it myself.
Right.
It's a great question to ask, and I don't have an answer for you. Like, I would
Yeah.
say, if the trends were the norm, if we could compare 21 to 22, 22 to 23, 23 to 24, yeah, we're trending in the right direction. We're trending in the positive, in the black. But because 2024 is such a tumultuous year, um, sales have been really, really shaky. So, I mean, we'll see.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is you're trending in the right direction.
Right.
That's the good
Exactly.
thing.
Yeah, we're doing all things right, and I mean, the curmudgeon's corner is really taken off, and that really contributes to the process. And then ultimately, nobody wants to fail. Nobody wants to go out of business. Nobody, like, we hope that Phoenix is going to be here next year. But at the end of the day, if we get through a pay it forward campaign and we're successful at the pay it forward campaign, it ultimately is what makes it all worth it. Um, you know, I mean, like last year at Christmas time, the Phoenix family changed people's lives. We made an impact on people that I mean, I literally said, if we close our doors tomorrow, we succeeded at making the world a better place than where we found it.
That's
So
awesome, man.
that's
I love that.
that's how I feel about it. I certainly, I mean, like going from being homeless to where I am now is 100% because of other people um, helping me, and that's the whole reason why the Pay It Forward campaign exists.
Hmm.
And if we can do that for somebody else, mission accomplished.
And since you brought that up, I think the hard part too is asking for help along the way.
Sure,
That's a hard part.
it's very hard. It's very hard. It is very hard to humble yourself. It's embarrassing. It is. There's a thousand things that go into why people don't ask for help. Um, and after you drop off, and I do really appreciate you being here 20 minutes longer than
No problem.
you had signed on for. After you drop off, we will talk about the crisis hotlines and things of that nature and where people can get help. But, I look at Anthony Bourdain and I look at Robin Williams, um, two extremely successful, quote unquote, successful people that had infinite amount of money, that have touched infinite amount of people's lives, that have been able to indulge in the finest things that life has to offer. Anthony Bourdain, his job was to fly around the world, eat the greatest food with the greatest people on the planet, and he ended up killing himself. And Dave Chappelle, he did one of his stand-ups, he opened with that, and he was like, if that happened to Anthony Bourdain, what chance do I have?
Mm.
And that haunts me on a daily basis. It really does. Where it's like so many people in this world are struggling, and these two predominant people that have been able to to tap into that 1% and still ended up on the end of a rope. Like, we need to do more to help people. I participate in the Valhalla campaign, which is 22 veterans a day killed themselves. I think it's important that we have this community. Curmudgeon's Corner could be that community where we can talk to each other, that we can support each other. I know there are at least 5 people in this chat right now that reach out to me on a weekly basis just to check in to see how I'm doing, and I reach out to them to see how they're doing. I was really actually worried about Titan Tim. I hadn't seen him post in a while, and then he posted something, and I was like, thank God that you posted, because I hadn't heard from you, and I was worried about you.
Mm.
It's just that kind of community that I hope to be a part of. Raul, all of the 2.0 on the Apex is available. I'm pretty positive that the 3.0 of Apex, 3.0 of Hydra is available on Amazon. We've sent in a whole bunch of stuff recently. We let the inventory levels go to 0 as far as gallons are concerned, and pretty much 0 as far as pints are concerned. So it's hard when it comes to Amazon, because Amazon is their own monster, and they can shuffle inventory around, and they can say, oh, well, it's not selling in Maine, but it's selling over in Phoenix, Arizona, so we're going to take Maine's inventory and send it over to Phoenix to supplement. So we tried to get inventory levels as low as possible before sending in new stuff. But if you let it go to 0, which we did on the gallons, you take a really big hit in rankings. So that means, like, you could be very popular week 1, you let your inventory go to 0. Next thing you know, you're ranked at 5,006. So we don't like to let our inventories go low.
So the thing I would tell Raul is order it directly from the Phoenix EOD site and use Eileen 10.
That's right. Look at you. You guys.
And
are
if you're on the West Coast, I would recommend that you order from imdetailedaf.com because you will get it in 2 days as opposed to ordering from Jersey and getting it next
yeah,
month.
and not only that, but it's going to be a heck of a lot cheaper.
Yep.
It's going to be a heck of a lot cheaper from the West Coast. I honestly, if anybody is west of the Mississippi, you should probably reach out to Adrian.
Adrian's awesome, and he ships super
He's
fast.
such a good dude.
Super
Such
fast.
Yeah, and then of course, again, after you drop off, we'll have all of those. We'll have all of the distributors. Fab carries all of the Phoenix products, and he's great for all of that Midwest stuff. Titan Tim carries the products. He's great for Southeast America, and then again, Adrian runs. He's got the monopoly on the West Coast.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, he's not that far from me. He's like 2 hours south of me.
So we're still trying to get together like a SoCal summit where we can all get together. Detail Doug, Christy, Matt from Phoenix said he'll come up. I'm sure we can drag Papa Smurf down from San Francisco to come on down there. Cat Guy, he's usually he's right there in Irvine. Again, that actor that I've been talking to, he's right there in Irvine as well. Eileen is in 29 Palms. We should have a really good tour de force if we can get like a little weekend summit. Let's make it happen and hang out and drink apple juice.
Apple juice till the cows come home.
Right?
Yeah. I'll let you enjoy mine because I don't drink alcohol. Period.
Okay, so you're full stop.
Yep.
All right, I respect that.
I'll drink my water. So I'll be right there with you,
Eileen's
Mike.
the same way. We'll spike hers. Don't worry.
I
We'll
changed
spike
all
her.
that.
Yeah.
When I was on the verge of turning 38, I changed my health habits because the doctor gave me a rude awakening. He's like, dude, if you keep going the path you're going, he goes, number one, diabetes runs in your family on both sides. So I ended up making a lifestyle change 7 years ago.
Oh,
Yeah.
congratulations.
DDPY. So it was
I consider mine medication.
I didn't want to go. So I didn't want to go on any sort of pill whatsoever. And so we didn't want to do any of that kind of stuff. So I actually cleaned my DDP yoga mat with Typhon. Get all that.
Very cool.
Yeah.
You know what? I was just reminded. If you all could be a lamb and give us a little bit of love, that would be really, really, really cool. Smash the subscribe and like button. That would be fantastic. Again, I really want to sell. We have all these really cool monsters in the Phoenix lineup: the Hydra, the Kraken, the Furies. Peleus. These are like these really cool characters and monsters, and they would look fantastic on a T-shirt. But the only way we can get those on a T-shirt is if we can attach Teespring to the channel. Otherwise, it's just so cost prohibitive that I'd never be able to do it. But if we can do that, I would love to get those T-shirts out there because they are so cool. The monsters are so much fun. I love working with my illustrators. This can't happen. You need to be front and center. There you go. Subscribe and like so that we can get the name out there and we get the T-shirts, the merch out there. I mean, imagine having the ginormous Kraken on a coffee mug. That'd
be sweet.
Right? Wouldn't that be cool to have? Oh, I would love that. Papa Smurf, thanks for coming out. Appreciate you. I want a Hades product. Hades is a place. I mean, we could probably do it. I would think that probably like Sirius would probably take the place of Hades, but I mean, why not? Why not? We have to figure out maybe Hades tire shine or something. I don't know.
Yeah, we need a tire shine since you brought that up.
I know everybody asks me that question. When are you going to do the tire shine? And
I
and my
feel I feel otherwise. I think you need a high pH soap. That's what I think.
well,
You need.
the Hyleene pH soap.
I don't care what you call it, but
Well, we
something with
already
a
know it's
scent,
going to be called
something
Hyleene.
something that smells pretty.
All right, we can make it
Give
smell
us both.
pretty.
Give us both.
Mike D's like,
So-
give me that tire
So then,
shine.
let me ask you a
Yeah,
question.
give me both.
What is the purpose? Explain to the crowd. Explain to me what what is the what do you need a high pH soap for?
Decon.
For decon.
Decon
Yeah.
primarily.
So like when I did my dad's truck 2 days ago, we did a pre-soak with the Kraken at like 5-1. We did a pre-soak with the Kraken. And while that was soaking, I sprayed down the wheel wells and the rims with the Furies. And then I power washed everything off. And then I went with the soap. So are you saying that the high pH soap would replace the Kraken, or would you use just all you'd have to use is the high pH soap?
All you would use is the high pH soap.
Huh.
Yeah.
Right, Mike?
Yeah. You would basically just use that to. You could either for like prep wash for your decon process, or you can do it for your maintenance or your coating.
Yeah.
So you're saying that like the high pH soap would take the place of two other products, like two other steps. Like one step would take the place of two steps.
It would take the step of probably Kraken. Right?
Yeah.
You would still need the iron remover at some point in there.
Right. So again, I'm going back to the question. So why would I want a high pH soap if I can pre-soak with the Kraken?
I've never used Kraken, so I don't know how that does in terms of like say my coating is clogged up.
Right.
You know, how well does Kraken work to unclog that coating for the pre-rinse part of it?
Well,
Right.
you can answer that question as soon as I send it to you, which will be.
Or
on
how well
Monday.
how well would it strip the paint? Like for me, that's what I would use it for is to prep for a coating. Right now, what I use Apex and Dawn, because Dawn helps with cutting through anything that's on the paint right now on the surface itself.
All
But
right,
instead
so,
of using that, I could use a high pH soap.
Yeah, Eileen, again, this is one of the very many thousands of reasons of why I brought you into the show, because of your profession and your experience. This is the way that I did my dad's truck yesterday. This is the way that I did, my stepson's car a couple of months ago. So we did the pre-soak with the Kraken, and used a foamer to foam the whole vehicle with the Kraken. Then I used the trigger sprayer for the Furies on the wheel wells. And then I had a 5-1 bucket of Kraken as my wheel cleaner. And I have a wheel brush, a wheel woolly, and all that stuff. And I clean the wheels, each one all around. And then I power wash the whole thing clean. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the first step. And then I use the IK Pro 12 to foam the entire vehicle with soap.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also have another bucket where I have, basically 1 ounce to 5 ounces of, or 1 ounce to 5 gallons of water with the Apex soap. And I do a contact wash with that. And as I'm doing the contact wash, Brian teaches you to feel the rough spots. So you don't have to clay the entire car. You just have to clay the rough spots. So then I use that same dilution of soapy water to clay and I use a mother's clay sponge so it retains all that liquid and lubricity. So then I clay those problem spots. And then I power wash the whole thing. Right? And then from that point, that's when I go to the paint correction. So whatever you need to get whatever problem the paint correction is, whether you need to go as heavy as Papa Cut with a with a cutting pad, or like say Fabulous Finishing Polish with a 50/50.
So, sorry,
You know, by all means.
you had more thoughts there, and I just cut you off. So go
No,
ahead.
that's fine. That's my process so far. We can pick up after that. Mike, also, I want to be very conscientious of your time. You're at you're at
We're,
1:30.
we're still good. We're still good. So I
We're
think-
gonna get into a heavy debate right now, so I just
Yeah.
want to make sure you have you're good
No,
with
we
time.
I'm just
Yes,
I'm
yes,
I'm
we go
curious.
time.
Again, you're the professionals, and I'm
So,
just
so
Go
my
ahead.
reasoning behind using a soap versus Kraken is I'm working in outside environments.
right.
I can't just put Kraken on the surface and think that it's going to do its thing. I have to eat off. So the purpose of having a soap that I can foam on is that it can sit on the surface for a little longer and do what it's supposed to do, which is break down anything that's on the surface, and it can do it for a longer period of time than applying Kraken, where I have to literally put it on and then rinse it immediately off.
Okay.
That's the thought process behind
So,
having a high pH soap versus just using an APC.
Okay.
Yeah, so the environment's dictating what she's looking for.
Definitely, I
Yeah.
can see how that would definitely make the difference, because like I definitely had a lot more playtime. You know, I think it was like I think the high was like 75, 78, and you know, wonderful humid New Jersey, whereas you're getting hammered. So yeah, I could see how that would. Well, Exodus. That's what I'm saying is that I was able to foam the Kraken using my foam cannon, my pump sprayer. I was able to foam the Kraken all over the vehicle. So like I was just kind of feeling like, I was just
so
kind
I
of
think, I think
ahead.
it's just dwell time, right? Just dwell time is.
sure.
Is
You
what it
definitely
is.
would have a lot more
Yeah.
dwell time because it's a lot more water involved.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean that makes sense. And again,
And like I
as a
said, when I do it with Apex and Dawn is in there to help do that job for me, which is break down whatever's on the surface, minerals or grime,
Grease.
film, grease, whatever could be on it. So it's like squeaky clean, stripped. So
Yeah.
essentially that's what the high pH soap would be doing instead of using
Okay.
what I'm using.
All right. I mean, it's definitely that's also pretty achievable. Like, making I were to put a higher pH in the, the cool thing about Apex being as so neutral as it is, it's very easy to add stuff that you would need to do that kind of stuff. So you could add a scent, no problem. We could add pH, no problem.
So would adding Kraken to Apex be a solution?
Yeah, you could
Temporary
do that
solution.
too, I think.
Yeah, but she wants it to smell pretty, and I don't
But
think Kraken doesn't really smell pretty. Kraken smells like it's ready to do some
Kraken is
Kraken is ready to
absolutely. Yeah. But I mean, you could definitely do it. I think like Amir is saying, do it at a higher dilution rate, so not 5-1, but like a little higher, so it's not
Mhm.
so full force.
Yeah.
Because essentially that's what you're
Okay,
creating.
so here's the other question. We all we're in the understanding that anything over pH 12 can potentially damage a coating. So when you're looking for a high pH soap, where do you want where do you want that pH to fall? And remember, the more water that you add, the closer you're going to get to neutral. So when you're doing Kraken, right? If you're doing Kraken at full strength, it's like
Insane.
14. It's like 14 plus at full strength.
Yeah.
But you start adding water to it, at 10-1. Now you're in the 12 mark range. You're in that 12 mark, and then if you were to go even more water than that, You're obviously you're going to get closer to 7. That's the idea of water being 7, being neutral. Where do you want a high pH soap to hit? And remember, you're going to have to dilute it. So right now, Apex can be diluted 600 to 1, and I mean that's a redonkulous number.
And it's still number 2 for somebody's list. What's going on?
Right? Which
Right? Yeah.
right?
What's going on there?
But at the price point that it is, at being half the cost of
Mhm.
of that other soap, it's whatever.
So when you talk about pH, okay, I think you want to stay within the 9 to 10 range. I think would be a good.
Yeah, I would say
Good
so, like
spot.
a 9.5. Yeah,
9.5.
somewhere between 9 and 10, I think is a good spot.
So
Where
then
you're
the
not doing
concentrate would
damage.
have to be pretty high. The
It'd be pretty
concentrate
high.
would have to be like 14 plus.
Right, you'd probably be up there at 12, 13 in that range.
And then when you dilute it down the way it's supposed to be diluted, then that's when you bring it down into that safe range. Because like I said,
Yeah.
you don't want to go over 12, or else you're going to be you run the risk of potentially damaging stuff.
Right.
10 pH that smells good. All right, Exodus. I hear
Okay.
you. I hear you. I'm writing all this down.
Yeah, and then after that, then you have to go on the other end of the spectrum, and you have to create a
Oh,
low
the acid.
pH.
The acid portion of it.
Mm-hmm. It's like Amir is
Oh.
saying, that's good for coating maintenance, especially if your coating needs some TLC. But high pH is where it's at.
Yeah, most of that will be like for the people who live in like snow conditions,
In what conditions?
snow-like conditions.
Okay.
Down here, I don't see. Down here where I'm at, towards the beach area, I don't see
Mineral
mineral
issues.
mineral issues
Yeah.
with coatings. I see
Outside
UV
of-
issues with
Oh, yeah.
coatings.
outside of what you can just fix with like a water spot remover or whatever.
Right.
Now, Keith, I'm curious as to whether that's like if you're taking the pH.
That's directly in the bottle.
I was going to say that's got to be in the bottle, so that when you pour that into a pail and you fill that with water, is it going to stay 10 or 11 pH? I don't think so.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
So I mean, so again, that's ultimately what you have to consider. You know what I mean? That is, it's not going to stay at 10 or 11. So you're going to have to start out like in a concentrated form. You're going to have to start out really, really wicked high, and then be able to adjust per
Bring it down. Yeah.
for the water that you're using. Smoke break has a new meaning these days. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Again, Mike, you've been super generous with your time.
Yeah,
no
thank you so
problem.
And I
much.
don't want to take advantage of your
This
generosity.
was good. I've enjoyed my time on here.
Good.
Thank you,
appreciate
Mike.
you having me on here. Figured, yeah, why not? We had an extra time, so I think it worked out just fine.
Good. And I would love to, I would love to have you back on again.
Yeah, sure. Anytime.
The beautiful mind, if you will, the engineer's mind is a wonderful place to be, because we can be analytical, and yet you bring a real human aspect to this whole thing. So
Yeah, and you can tell my personality, I'm pretty chill, man. It takes a lot to really push my buttons. So
well, good, because we're an anti-button kind of organization. We don't really like to push buttons. As a matter of fact, I think one of our episodes, somebody was talking some trash, and it started some smoke. And I ended up calling
in the comments.
Yeah, in the comments, and I ended up calling the company and apologizing, because,
Oh, wow.
like I said, this is not the platform for talking trash.
it's getting
Um,
Yeah.
There's enough of that out there already.
it is.
So I just want us to, it was the Four Horsemen that I originally, teamed up with to make these products. I think we all have the same kind of mentality where they just want to share knowledge. They want to, I know a lot of detailers that are like, I'm not sharing my secrets. I've spent 10 years, 12 years, 15 years developing my process, and I'm not going to share that with anybody. And like, oh, that's fair, and you can do that. But the people that I want to work with are people that want to help each other out, because I feel like we're all in this together. And I think that Brian from Apex, is the antithesis of that, which is, there's enough for everybody to go around.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, why would you sell my products on your website? Because there's enough for everybody to go around.
Exactly.
So I appreciate you sharing your knowledge. I appreciate your criticisms and your critiquing. And I appreciate what you bring to the table in a uplifting way and not a tearing down kind of way, which I think there's just so much of in this world.
Yeah, appreciate that, Aaron.
So
again, thanks for having me on here. It was great. The time went by so fast, I didn't realize we were here that long.
right, it went crazy,
Yeah.
especially when we're talking backstage for 16 minutes. Hi,
Yeah, where's our tech guy? We need an IT guy. Anybody know an IT guy?
he's well, this is a guy that's been helping me all along, but he's been a little preoccupied with stuff. So anyway,
Keep him happy.
Mike G, thank you so much for coming on the show. I super appreciate you. I appreciate your content. Everybody and anybody that wants to find out how to get a hold of this guy, wants to find out where this guy is at, I have his IG somewhere around here, but it's Mike G Detailing, and there it is, IG Mike G Detailing. Follow him. You can find him on YouTube. You can find him on Instagram. He says that he's on Facebook, but I don't believe it. And he's got tremendous content, honest reviews,
Absolutely.
not biased, and definitely not in the back pocket of any corporation or company. So
You are guaranteed to learn something, no matter what
absolutely.
video you watch. Yeah.
Appreciate you guys. It's been great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Have a
You
good
have a
night.
great night, and tell your family thank you so much for being so generous with your time.
Absolutely.
Will
Thank
do.
you.
Take care.
All right, brother.
Bye.
All right. That was wild. That was wild. I mean, I was so happy to have him on the show. He's
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
he's such a good dude. Like he said in his own words, he's a chill guy.
He's
And
a
I
chill guy.
just really appreciate that. And the DMs and messages that we've gone back and forth with, he's just been fabulous. And I can't
Absolutely.
thank him enough for the honest criticism that he did as far as the Hydra is concerned, because that stuff is so, it's next level. It is the Hydra has evolved into something that I am just so like, people are like, what's your favorite product? And I'm like, I gotta say Hydra's kind of jumped into first place.
It used to be Titan.
Yeah, it used to be Titan, and then Peleus was really, really a lot of fun because of all, just how cool Peleus is. But I think
Yeah.
like with the evolution of Hydra, it has definitely taken on center stage, if you ask
Yeah,
me.
I was thoroughly surprised with it. I used it on my vehicle and I used it on 2 other vehicles, and yeah, it's phenomenal. The way it just cuts through everything. Just I use it in the pump sprayer, let it sit on the car for a little bit because I used distilled water.
Yeah.
I let it sit on the car for a little bit, and it just broke down everything that was on, especially on the hood. Just gone.
Yeah,
Amazing.
Brian from Apex, he gives me such a hard time about the condition that I keep my vehicles in, which is pretty trashed.
Which is bad. Yeah.
I keep my vehicles trashed at all times, and he's like, why do you do that? And he's like, why? And I go, for this very reason. Like, look at so I did this video on the Hydra, and it had all this pollen and crud in the door jamb, and I was able to take that Hydra, and I have the video of it again. My editing and posting is just absolutely
Can you
horrible.
just send it to me so I could do stuff with it?
Would you mind?
No, of course not. Why would
Oh,
I?
you
Why
are
would I
the
ever
best.
mind?
You are just
Dump it in the
best.
folder.
But all right, I will do that. But I plunged the sponge into the Hydro Wash, and then I just ran it across the door jamb, and in one pass, it was completely squeaky clean. And I mean, I was just like, what? That is ridiculous.
So good. So good.
Zero effort. It's ridiculous.
Nothing. Yeah. Yeah, I've got some content from using it on my car that I want to post on YouTube. But yeah, I've got, you know, the hood, it's got all those little like pollen things and like stuff on it, and I literally just put it on there, let it sit for like 30 seconds, and I like to use the double flip, wiped it right off. It came off, no problem. I didn't have to like mess around with it at all or anything, just came right off. Amazing.
Awesome. I got a question for you. Do you encounter at all out there in SoCal? Do you encounter artillery fungus at all?
No.
Okay.
I personally haven't seen it.
I get that question a lot about, you know, what's the best approach to artillery fungus, and like how do you deal with it? Right now, my top recommendation is Kraken and a plastic razor.
Yeah.
But that's just basically from what I've read. High pH pre-soak and a plastic razor is the best approach to artillery fungus. But apparently, it's more of an East Coast thing.
Yeah. It might be. I mean, I wouldn't doubt that Kraken. I mean, Kraken solves all my problems.
I know you buy it by like the gallons and gallons and gallons and gallons.
I have a 7-gallon drum in my garage that I mix a whole gallon of Kraken in there with distilled water, and it goes. I think I go through that 7-gallon jug. I think it takes me like a week and a half to go through it. But I also see like, you know, trashed pickup trucks and like muddy tires and bugs all over the place. So I use it like on everything. Artillery bird poop.
That's awesome. Apparently we got to get, I think you and I need to get Phil on the program.
We should.
I mean, he's been on.
I would love it.
He's been on a couple of times. He came on for the birthday show, and he came on for like we were trying to hype up the Southern Detailers Conference, but I don't know if I've ever had him on just like the full
as a guest.
Yeah, like as a guest, you know, running the 2 hours, 3 hours that we normally run. And again, since you've joined the team, Curmudgeon's Corner is a whole different monster, and it's so much better than it was when I was flying solo. So let's get Phil on.
We should.
You know what? That brings us to the next thing that you and I were talking about earlier this morning. We should be asking our audience who they'd like to see on the program. So we're going to start taking emails and ideas of, you know, we're getting to the point where we have a little bit of notoriety. People are starting to notice who we are and what we're doing. And I'm thinking that if we can get more and more people on our show, just to kind of give a variety of outside of the normal Phoenix circle, would be a really, really good idea. So there's my email address. Email me, or you can email Eileen. I'll put her information up here in a minute, of who you'd like to see come on the show, who you'd like to see interviewed, and who's Dave Barker? Should I know Dave Barker?
No clue.
All right. Tom Cruise might be hard to get, but I'll try. You know, Hippo, I'll be honest with you. I don't necessarily have the ear of the king, Donald, but my family is pretty. They know some people. For example, my cousin Andrew is an International Space Station astronaut, and he is the base commander of some small island in the South Pacific. So he knows a few people. My dad and Oliver North are friends, and he's a family friend. He's had dinner with my family numerous times. So, I mean, we do have access to some politically motivated individuals, but here on the Curmudgeon's Corner, we try to keep things as civil as possible. And I don't necessarily know if we want to. I mean, here's the thing: if we have Donald on, we're going to have Kamala on, and I don't know anybody or anything that knows Kamala. So, I mean, we have to keep things equal and fair. Fab Automotive Detailing, what's up? Yo, yo, yo! Welcome back from Nebraska, Fab. Tom Brady. I don't. Again, I don't want to say anything.
I don't know who he is.
Who Tom Brady is?
I don't know who he is.
He's some cheater from
He's
New England. Likes to play with soft balls or something. I forget. I forget.
It's something with balls, yeah.
Mm-hmm. As a Pittsburgh Steeler guy,
same.
New England Patriots can kiss my shiny metal.
The whole thing.
Right?
The whole thing.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. Spygate. All right, what else? We got a couple of other things that we wanted to talk about tonight, and I can't remember because.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about the project. I mean, you kind of touched on it a little bit, but
yeah, is Christy still in here? The details in me.
I think so.
Is she?
I think so.
Yep, the details in me. She's here. All right, I'm gonna say, hey, girl. All right, so we've been talking. Hey, you've heard it here first. I don't know all the details. None of us know all the details because it's still in the brainstorming section of what we're doing. But we're doing a big collaboration. It'll probably be on a separate channel or at least under a different heading. Like we're the Curmudgeon's Corner. Matt and Christy are the X's and O's with Extra Mile. We're trying to do a collaboration between Extra Mile, So Clean, and Phoenix that we're going to be announcing here in September. There's going to be a new show coming out. I don't want to give away too many details because I can just see some other mustache twirling, whatever company jumping in on us and taking our ideas. So I don't want to get too excited about it. I don't want to give away too many details, but we have a new show coming out that's a collaboration between Extra Mile, So Clean, and Phoenix. And it's going to be basically, am I allowed to say like the premise? Mm-hmm. Should I say the premise?
Maybe say it's focused on mobile detailers because of Extra Mile and myself, and that's where our focus is going to be on mobile detailers.
There you go. That's exactly right. It's going to it's going to gear towards what Eileen does and what Matt does, and what so many people in our industry, the backbone, if you will, of what our industry is all about. And I think that they get forgotten so much. And it was Matt's idea, and he came to us and was like, hey, what do you guys think about this? And we were so excited to be a part of it. As a matter of fact, Matt presented the idea, and then Eileen and I talked about it for like 2 weeks before we got back to Matt, and we're like, hey, Matt, we came up with all these ideas on your idea, right? Like, what do you think about this? And he was like, wow, yeah, that sounds fantastic. And I was like, yeah, well,
yeah.
I mean,
not to take the words from Matt, but basically mobile detailers kind of get the short end of the stick because a lot of people focus more on the garage detailer or the shop detailer, but nobody really focuses on the mobile detailers. So that is what we will be focused on, is shining some light on some fellow mobile detailers and doing something pretty cool for them, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think if you're in agreement, Aaron,
yes.
is asking people to nominate a mobile detailer that they know of.
Yeah, so we're looking for mobile detailers from all around the world. We're looking for mobile detailers all around the world. And if you know of a mobile detailer, that email address, Aaron at Phoenix EOD, or you can send it to Eileen, which is info@soclean, getsoclean.com.
Getsoclean.com.
You can send it to either her or I. We're looking for mobile detailers, any kind of information that you might have on them, and basically we'll give you the nod of that you nominated them for whatever we end up doing with that information. Again, I don't want to get into the minutia of exactly what we're doing. I think that X's and O's is going to announce it in September of exactly what we're going to be doing, and because it's his and Christy's brainchild, I don't think that it's fair for us to get so involved with the details. But in September, stay tuned. Make sure you follow them, you subscribe to them, and we will be having. Why is it so top secret? Because you go out to Nebraska and you knobs talk about stuff and you steal ideas. That's why, Fab. That's why.
But if you know a mobile detailer that you feel like would benefit from a collaboration with us, that would be great. Send their information to us. We can only see what we see on social media, and I'm sure that there are a lot of detailers out there that maybe don't have that social presence, or maybe are kind of starting up their social presence and they haven't really been on there for very long. So just if you have a mobile detailer in mind, send them either my way, info@getsoclean.com, or Aaron at phoenixcod.com, and let us know about them. We want to meet them. We want to talk to them.
There's your. Hey, look, I got it both up. Ha ha.
Hey, look at that. Yes.
EC Details, you're about 30 seconds away from being banned. Life is trash. Sorry. No, I apologize. I apologize. I didn't mean anything that I said. It wasn't me talking. It was the apple juice.
It was the apple juice.
It was a wonderful live, and I'm sure that it was a wonderful experience out in Nebraska that nobody but you were invited to. Anyway.
Oh, Brian.
Bomb. All right. Hey, so for the Phoenix birthday 2025, this is a trivia question for some really cool present. This is the greatest beverage ever made, and it is my absolute favorite adult beverage. The old fashioned is my favorite adult beverage of all time, and that should be a trivia question for next year.
Okay.
So if you're paying attention to Curmudgeon's Corner 34, you now have
the answer.
So when it comes up,
there it is.
All right, what else you got? Is that it? Are we done?
That's it. That's all I got.
We've crossed the 2-hour mark. Do you want to you want to give away something? We can theoretically give away something else.
Yeah. What would you like to give away?
Well, I think that we should probably give away either the Apex 3.0 or the Hydra 3.0 or the Chronos 2.0. Your call.
I think Apex.
All right. Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
That's what I wrote down.
Oh, great minds think alike.
Hive mind, baby.
Look at that.
All right. So, what's the trivia question?
Ooh.
What's my favorite cocktail? No, that's
no, you can't.
That doesn't count.
Oh,
Keith Fiber has a question.
Keith, sure. Detail with Jess. I don't know that. Does she have Instagram? Or is it just YouTube? Detail with Jess? I don't know who that is. Is that bad? Is that bad of me not to know who that is?
I don't know it either. I
Sorry,
don't even know where
guys.
you're reading that from.
In the comments.
I can't read at this point. Aaron, are you from Wisconsin or something? Nope. I've been through there a couple of times, but I've never lived in Wisconsin. I was actually born in Pennsylvania, and within like 3 weeks of being born, I was transported to Pensacola, Florida. My dad was a Marine. And,
Oh, I know who she is. Sorry, talking
there
out
you
loud.
go. That's all right.
So sorry.
So no, I've never lived in Wisconsin.
Yes, I like her channel. I'm subscribed to her channel. She's got good stuff.
Details with Jess. I was the wife of XYZ Detail. Yeah. So I've had lots of conversations pertaining to this duo. And
No, that's wrong. Nope, not them. If you go on YouTube and you search for Detail with Jess,
yeah.
then you see her. It's not who you're talking about.
Are you sure? Because that's what
Yeah.
Humberto just said.
Oh. I don't think that's who they're talking about.
Okay.
Because the one that Humberto put there, she's not a mobile detailer.
Okay, yeah, that's true. She is brick and mortar.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if you search on YouTube Detail with Jess, she's got a whole thing. She started her mobile detailing in May of 2023. So she's fairly new.
Okay.
Yeah.
Chris M. Old fashions are very manly. Okay, it's a manly drink that men drink because they're men. Okay, that's why. Period.
That's a good enough answer. Yeah. Yes, Keith. Yes, short blonde hair.
I don't know. It was a few years ago. I thought to myself, I need to have a signature drink, and there's a lot of different things out there, and a lot of like really silly named Sex on the Beach and blunts, blah 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 blah. And I've always been a real whiskey fan, and I got turned on to an old fashioned, and I was like, it's simple, it's easy, and I just absolutely love it. Like, there's enough that use a simple sugar or an ice or a sugar cube or whatever. Just there's enough to take the edge off. Why not? Normally
I like my drink. My drink is a Moscow Mule.
Okay, that's a fantastic beverage. I'm not a huge mint guy, but yeah, I can get it.
That's good.
But yeah, I the old fashioned spoke to me. It's either whiskey neat or in an old fashioned.
Nope, not that one. This one.
I'm not a huge gin guy because of the pine nut taste to it. Like you really need to spruce up a gin drink for me. It's not that I'm opposed to it or any alcohol. As a matter of fact, the only real alcohol that I like, you have that moment in college where you're just like, I got so obliterated to this that I will never drink it again. Most people lean towards a schnapps of some flavor, but mine is Sambuca. Not only do I not like the taste of black licorice, but I got wrecked on Sambuca, and I will avoid it at all costs.
Yeah, for me, I lived off of vodka cranberries for all of my 20s, and I cannot, even if I had just cranberry juice by itself.
Yeah.
Just drinking it now, I'm like, ugh, can't.
The cure time is it's still 24 hours. How long do I need to wait to top with Titan? You can get away with like 4 hours. I've seen Brian push it even more than that. Titan it's breathable, so it's very forgiving. So 4 hours is good, but the real cure time for the Immortal is 24.
All right, and then X6M Ghost. What happened with Immortal and Jamie the Cleaner spray coating video?
Yeah, I don't. Well, so it failed on Jamie's.
Did it?
It failed, and again, I have no idea. I don't know what happened because, the problem with those kind of videos is that I'm not privy to exactly what the prep was, and and everything that went into it. And my problem, like how I feel about it, is the fact that somebody else's product was subjected to the same thing, and it held up versus where mine didn't hold up.
Yeah.
So that's troubling. But talking with Jamie, as far as like the actual instructions are concerned, the actual application is concerned, and going through all the proper steps, you have somebody like Titan Tim that has done the exact same thing, but he followed all the rules, if you will, and it's held up beyond all expectations.
I wonder, maybe it's
well,
maybe the temperature.
it might be temperature. It might not be. It might be humidity. I know that Fab has had issues with some of my coatings, when on the super humid days. But the problem is, regardless of the situations, like Jamie applied 3 coatings the exact same way, and Immortal didn't hold up the way that the way that the others did, regardless of whether or not it was applied appropriately or inappropriately. The steps were taken appropriately or inappropriately. The fact of the matter is that somebody succeeded where I failed. So for me, on a personal level, that's a problem. However, the flip side of that coin is, if you apply Immortal the way that it's supposed to be applied, if you go through the steps that you're supposed to take to apply it, and you allow it a full cure time before it getting wet, all of those things, it holds up very, very well. And Immortal is just an incredible product. I know that Papa Smurf, he puts it on everything. Titan Tim puts it on everything. So like, I know that it works, and I know that it works as directed.
Yeah.
As far as Jamie's video is concerned, there's a lot of variables.
It's hard to pinpoint.
That I can't account for. But again, what's troubling to me is that somebody succeeded where I didn't, and that's a problem for me. How much Apex in my MJJC V3 with an active?
X6M Go said 2 glugs. I was gonna answer 3 glugs because that's usually my answer for any soap. But I mean, I'm sure you have like a real answer. An ounce.
Well, I mean, I only I do a lot of testing with Brian from Apex, and Brian says 2 ounces in a 32-ounce bottle.
2 ounces.
So I guess
there you go.
Two glugs.
So 2 ounces, Chris. 2 ounces, or 2 to 3 glugs works for me. It's half of what Rad Garages use. Okay. Anything else? What else?
All right, yeah. So Superior Auto Detailing and Paint Correction here on the Southwest Missouri. Cronus gets a bit grabby on the wipe off in summer, but it doesn't stop me from using it. 1, thank you so much. I super appreciate that. 2, I'm hoping that the 2.0 has an even better appeal to you, Superior, because that was something that we definitely tried to address. I will say this. I tested it in a very controlled environment at 70 degrees, and I got 5 minutes of work time with it. Brian did it in his garage on that, what was it? Was that a Ferrari? I think it was a Ferrari. Anyway, he did it in his garage, which is not nearly as climate controlled as my lab is. And he got about 4 minutes out of it. It's much more controlled than what you're describing as far as Southwest Missouri. I can imagine it's probably pretty muggy. I know that Fab had some issues with it as well in like the super humid conditions. We're still researching, why that is. Then again, somebody like Titan Tim down in South Carolina where it's extremely hot and extremely muggy and humid. He didn't have those issues that Fab had. So again, we're just trying to really pinpoint all those variables of what could make something have an adverse reaction versus somebody that is in a similar situation not have those problems. There's just so many variables that can go into these situations. I will say this: when Brian when he was doing it and he let it go too far, where it was like super grab, he's like, I think we went too far with this. He reapplied more Chronos to the exact same spot, and it kind of reactivated it, and then he was able to wipe it off no problem. Again, the longer that you can allow a coating to linger before you wipe it off, the more you're going to add to the protection, the more product is going to be left behind. My rule of thumb is I always like to touch it in the top corner.
Yeah.
I like to touch it. If I can push it around, it can stay. If it gets like the 3M Post-it notes, if it's tacky like that, you better get it off quick.
Yeah, I've had to do that, especially over the summer, because although we don't have the humidity like Brian is talking about, because our humidity here is like anywhere between like 5 to 8% on a normal day. But being that it's like 115 degrees, I have learned to do that same thing where I'll take like a little corner of the towel and I'll put it on the edge of the section that I'm working on. And if it leaves the imprint of the towel, then I know it still needs to sit there for a little bit. But if it just wipes off super easy, then it comes right off.
Hey, yeah, Ghost, I can't wait for you to hear about it or to hear the feedback on it, because this 3.0 it's outrageous. I love it. I love it. And then again, when we're talking about price points, if my argument with Pan was even if Reset was better at twice the cost. If you're splitting it, because I mean, his original video is, I'm just splitting hairs. They're so close. I'm just splitting hairs. If you're just splitting hairs between one soap or another, and one soap is half the price,
Yeah.
that's a no-brainer to me. Like,
Absolutely.
You're not even. It's not. It's yeah. We're not even talking the same thing.
Yep.
Anyway. All right. I think we should probably wrap this up. Did we decide to give away the soap to somebody I think we decided to give away the soap, but we didn't.
Oh yeah. Did we come up with a question? No, right?
Not really.
Do you have a question?
No, I lean on you for these kind of things. I got a question for you. All right, ready? Here you go. Eileen dropped a video today that she filmed yesterday, and she specifically said a certain temperature that was outside. What was the temperature that she posted in her video? She had a detail yesterday in a certain temperature. Nope.
Oh, Mary's so close.
Nope. Nope. 666. Yep, that's it. Yeah, it might as well have been.
It felt like it.
I'm sure it felt like you were in hell.
It felt like it for sure.
Devil's in the details. Nope. Keith Firebird. Nope.
Hottest going is yes.
Nope.
Oh man, guys.
Wow, nobody likes your videos. I loved your video, by the way.
Nobody watches my videos.
There
guys.
it is.
Yes.
There it is.
Yes.
There it is. Congratulations.
Franco got it. Thank you, Franco. I was hoping it was you. Thank you.
All right. I'm going to have to confirm whether or not Devil's in the Detail has won.
I don't think he has.
All right.
I don't think he has.
All right, so the email address at the bottom that's scrolling, Aaron@PhoenixCOD. Send me your deets, your information on how to send it to you, where to send it to, and the Devil's in the Details gets a bottle of Apex 3.0. All right, now we have met all of our obligations. let's just go through the rigmarole.
Hey, Fred, welcome.
Fred, you are the man. Fred is so awesome.
Fred is the best.
I got to be honest with you. Like, he is. Talk about a beautiful human being.
He is that and more.
He's been helping me behind the scenes, just trying to make my website better, make my life better, and he does it for just because because we're friends. He was like, "You seem like a good person, and I want to help good people." If that doesn't speak volumes of the type of person that he is,
he's amazing,
right? 100%. All right. So, all of that being said, first and foremost, we do the Pay It Forward campaign. If you have any donations, I know that the details in me, Christy, she said that she was going to donate a whole bunch of stuff product wise from another company.
Very cool.
Again, this isn't about Phoenix. I'm glad that Phoenix is the platform that we can do this from. But it's about helping people. So the ego has to take side stage, and products from another company that are being donated are definitely going to be sent out. This is the address: 404 Bloomfield Drive, Suite 1, West Berlin, New Jersey, 08020. Anything you guys can want to and can donate to somebody that might need something, that's the place to do it. I want to give a special shout out to my distributors. West Coast Distribution is Adrian at imdetailedaf.com. Midwest Distribution is fabdetailsupplies.com, and Southeast Distribution is shineyourlightdetailing.com/store/. And then if you are worldwide, if you're listening to us in our brothers and sisters up north, a worldwide distribution in Canada is Carzilla.ca. In the United Kingdom is intodetailing.co.uk. And then our very good and dear friend Andrew in Australia at osprodetailing.com.au. And then if you go to my website at phoenixeod.com, you can use Eileen10 for 10% off of everything site-wide. If you want to get a hold of Eileen, this is all things Eileen. This is her email address, her website, and her IG. Make sure that you follow and subscribe and check her out. She's putting out great content every day. Her music choices are absolutely fantastic.
Thank you.
And your editing is just, it makes me sad.
Before anyone leaves, please make sure you send us a message. Let us know who your mobile detailer is that you are promoting or nominating or whatever.
Yeah,
send it our way.
Definitely have to get that prepared for September. So start sending it that way.
Send us your people.
Eileen, send it to me. Nominate a mobile detailer that you are proud of and know and are excited and could use a little exposure. And then last but not least, and this is extremely important to all of us here at the Curmudgeon's Corner. This is the crisis hotline for anybody that is experiencing anything. It is anonymous. If you are going through a crisis of any type, it could be domestic, it could be substance, it could be alcohol, it could be anything that you're dealing with, suicide prevention. Please visit this website and get help. Reach out to anybody in this community. This community is by far the closest thing that I can say is a large family of strangers, but we all care about each other, and I'm truly blessed to be a part of it. So you're not alone in whatever battle you are fighting. We, Eileen, need to talk about later what we're going to do for September. We got to do some. We got to get some good guests on. Definitely want to see Phil. Also, in those emails that you're sending to Eileen and myself, if you can let us know who you'd like to see, on future episodes of the Curmudgeon's Corner, we will try to rope them in and
Yes.
get them on here. I think Phil's a no-brainer. He loves the camera, and he kind of sort of likes me. So I think we can get Phil, no problem. But let us know who else you'd like to see, and we'll get them on. And it can be anybody. It doesn't have to be detailer related. It could be small business. It could be female-owned business. It could be veteran-owned business. It could be anything that you guys want to talk about. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Definitely.
Drinking some apple juice and hanging out and talking. So out of all the places that you guys could be on a Saturday night, you decided to be here at the Curmudgeon's Corner. We thank you so very much.
Thank you.
I would really appreciate the subscribes so that we can start putting out some really cool merch. And other than that, we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Thank you so much. Eileen, as always, love you. Great to see you.
Love you back.
Thanks for hanging out. And
All right.
all of our peeps in the audience, thanks for hanging out with us.
Have a great
Curmudgeon's
weekend.
Corner
Bye, Wes.
in the books. Good night, everybody.
Good night.